Hello everyone, welcome to course English for Business 1, Unit 3, Project. There are 5 parts in this unit. Part 1, Project Management. Part 2, Large-Scale Project. Part 3, Communication Skills, Giving Instructions. Part 4, Business Skills, Meeting, Updates and Actions. Part 5, Writing an email requesting an update. After studying this unit, learners can use vocabulary related to project management, understand and practice making comparisons, understand different ways of telling people what to do, and can use a range of phrases for giving and responding to instructions and standing their ground. Use a range of expressions to give and receive updates and to discuss follow-up actions items. Write an internal email requesting updates on the project. Now let's start with part 3.1, Project Management. In this part, students will learn and practice vocabulary related to project management. Now let's do exercise 1 together. Please read the following pairs of comments. Which view do you most agree with? Pair 1, 1A. Having a detailed schedule increases stress. It's better to have a more relaxed approach to work. And 1B. The only way to do everything you need to do is to organize your life and have a detailed schedule and follow it. So which one do you agree with? 1A or 1B? Please spend some time thinking about these two views and decide which one do you agree with. Alright, so which view do you most agree with? 1A or 1B? Please have a look on the screen for the example answer. In my opinion, I agree with the comment 1B. I always have a detailed schedule for each day. Do you agree with the opinion? Yes or no? Alright, now let's move on to pair 2. 2A. Everyone should have a personal budget. Controlling your money is the key to financial happiness. And the view 2B. It's important to enjoy life and not to worry too much about how you spend your money. Now please spend some time thinking about these two views and decide which one do you agree with. Alright, so is this 2A or 2B that you agree with? Now please have a look on the screen for the example answer. In my opinion, I agree with the comment 2A. I think that it's important to have a good financial management. Now let's move on to exercise 2A. You're going to watch a video about London's Millennium Bridge. Before watching the video, please answer some questions. Question 1. Do you know the Millennium Bridge in London? Please spend some time searching for the information relating to Millennium Bridge in London. Alright, so have you found any information relating to Millennium Bridge in London? Please have a look on the screen for the sample answer. So Millennium Bridge is the 33rd bridge over the Thames in Greater London area. This bridge opened on the 10th of June 2000, but was closed 2 days later. Can you guess why the bridge was closed? We can find the answer in the video. Alright, now let's watch the video and check the reasons why the bridge was closed. While watching, please also pay attention to whether or not the engineers solved the problems. If yes, how did they solve the problems? Let's watch the video and answer the questions.
In business, as in life, things can and do go wrong. Imagine this situation. You are responsible for a major construction project that, after years of planning and careful project management, appears to fail in front of the world's media. A project manager's worst nightmare. In the case of London's Millennium Bridge, it was a nightmare come true. The Millennium Bridge hit the headlines for all the worst reasons. As people walked across the bridge, it started to move from side to side.
A bit surprised by the degree of sway.
I feel very seasick, yes, but it's not too much further. We can get off the other end.
The architects say that as a suspension bridge, it was always intended to move, though not quite as much as it has been over the last few days.
What was making the bridge wobble? Was it safe? It wasn't a big movement, but people could feel it and were worried about the safety of the bridge.
The Millennium Bridge opened in the year 2000 on the Millennium, but that was actually slightly behind schedule and slightly over budget. But in a project of that complexity, that's not so unusual. What was unusual was that when people started to walk across the bridge, it began to sway quite dramatically from side to side.
The engineers were sure that the bridge was safe, but the team closed the bridge while they investigated the problem.
One of the central parts of a project manager's job is risk management. So that's anticipating all the things that could possibly go wrong and having a plan in place to reduce those risks. And in the case of the Millennium Bridge, they just didn't see the wobble coming at all.
While engineers investigated the mysterious wobble, the project managers also had a busy time.
After a setback like this, the project manager's highest priority is to manage all the different specialist teams who are working on the bridge, but also to facilitate good communication between those teams. Together, they're going to have to come up with a new plan of what to do, which is going to involve setting new budgets, coming up with a new schedule, and agreeing new milestones. But the most important thing, immediately, is to figure out what the problem was and to find a solution.
The investigation was complicated and took a long time. The engineers found that the cause of the problem was the way people's bodies reacted to the very small movement of the bridge. The bridge's slight movement caused people to walk differently, and the change in their walking made the bridge move more. Engineers came up with the solution of attaching additional parts to the bridge to stop the movement. The work resulted in even greater budget and schedule overruns.
I don't think it's fair to blame the project managers on the Millennium Bridge for the wobble, because although we've known that lightweight bridges are prone to lateral motion, that phenomenon of thousands of people synchronizing their steps had never been seen before. So it's not the kind of risk you can just predict easily. However, from now on, you can be sure that at the top of every project manager's risk register, bridge wobble will appear.
2 years after the initial problems, the bridge finally reopened, and it remains a popular London attraction. It has not suffered from any further severe movement. Despite that, it is still known in popular culture as the Wobbly Bridge.
Now let's check the answers together. Question number 1, why was the bridge closed? So after watching the video, can you find out the reason why the bridge was closed? Please have a look at the screen for the answer. The bridge was closed because it moved from side to side when people walked over it. You can find this information at the 39th second of the video. For question number 2, did the engineer solve the problem and how? The answer is yes, they could fix the problem by attaching additional parts to stop movement. And you can find this information at the 2 minutes 46 seconds of the video. We continue with section video of part 3.1, exercise 3. You now watch the video of a Millennium Bridge in London again and decide if the sentences from number 1 to number 8 are true or false. Before watching the video, please spend some time reading through all the sentences. 1. The problems with the bridge were a nightmare because many people were hurt. 2. Some people crossing the bridge felt ill. 3. The designers expected there to be some movement in the bridge. 4. The project managers did not try to reduce risk. 5. After closing the bridge, one of the most important jobs was to identify the problem and find a solution. 6. The problem was caused by people reacting to the slight movement of the bridge. 7. Fixing the bridge required a lot of extra time and money. 8. Now, Londoners don't like using the bridge because they feel afraid of it. Ở trong 8 câu này thì các bạn có thấy có từ nào là từ mới không ạ? Ở đây chúng ta để ý thấy có từ nightmare. Nightmare có nghĩa là gì ạ? Thông thường thì nightmare có nghĩa là cơn ác mộng, a bad dream. Tuy nhiên trong tình huống này thì chúng ta có thể hiểu nightmare là một tình huống xấu, a bad situation. Now let's watch the video again and decide if the sentences are true or false.
In business, as in life, things can and do go wrong. Imagine this situation. You are responsible for a major construction project that, after years of planning and careful project management, appears to fail in front of the world's media. A project manager's worst nightmare. In the case of London's Millennium Bridge, it was a nightmare come true. The Millennium Bridge hit the headlines for all the worst reasons. As people walked across the bridge, it started to move from side to side.
A bit surprised by the degree of sway.
I feel very seasick, yes, but it's not too much further. We can get off the other end.
The architects say that as a suspension bridge, it was always intended to move, though not quite as much as it has been over the last few days.
What was making the bridge wobble? Was it safe? It wasn't a big movement, but people could feel it and were worried about the safety of the bridge.
The Millennium Bridge opened in the year 2000 on the Millennium, but that was actually slightly behind schedule and slightly over budget. But in a project of that complexity, that's not so unusual. What was unusual was that when people started to walk across the bridge, it began to sway quite dramatically from side to side.
The engineers were sure that the bridge was safe, but the team closed the bridge while they investigated the problem.
One of the central parts of a project manager's job is risk management. So that's anticipating all the things that could possibly go wrong and having a plan in place to reduce those risks. And in the case of the Millennium Bridge, they just didn't see the wobble coming at all.
While engineers investigated the mysterious wobble, the project managers also had a busy time.
After a setback like this, the project manager's highest priority is to manage all the different specialist teams who are working on the bridge, but also to facilitate good communication between those teams Together, they're going to have to come up with a new plan of what to do, which is going to involve setting new budgets, coming up with a new schedule, and agreeing new milestones. But the most important thing, immediately, is to figure out what the problem was and to find a solution.
The investigation was complicated and took a long time. The engineers found that the cause of the problem was the way people's bodies reacted to the very small movement of the bridge. The bridge's slight movement caused people to walk differently, and the change in their walking made the bridge move more. Engineers came up with the solution of attaching additional parts to the bridge to stop the movement. The work resulted in even greater budget and schedule overruns.
I don't think it's fair to blame the project managers on the Millennium Bridge for the wobble, because although we've known that lightweight bridges are prone to lateral motion, that phenomenon of thousands of people synchronizing their steps had never been seen before. So it's not the kind of risk you can just predict easily. However, from now on, you can be sure that at the top of every project manager's risk register, bridge wobble will appear.
2 years after the initial problems, the bridge finally reopened, and it remains a popular London attraction. It has not suffered from any further severe movement. Despite that, it is still known in popular culture as the Wobbly Bridge.
Now let's check the answers together. So for number 1, is it true or false? Number 1 is false. Các bạn để ý ở đầu video thì cô dẫn chương trình có nói rằng London's Millennium Bridge was a nightmare come true, but no one was hurt. Như vậy thực tế là những gì đã xảy ra đối với chiếc cầu này là một tình huống rất là xấu, nhưng mà không có ai bị thương cả. So the answer here is false. Number 2, is this true or false? Number 2 is true. Có người phụ nữ tham gia phỏng vấn đúng không ạ? Và cô ta có nói rằng I feel very seasick. Seasick có nghĩa là gì ạ? Có nghĩa là say sóng. Như vậy khi mà đi ngang qua cái cầu này thì cô ấy cảm thấy như là bị say sóng vậy. Alright. And for number 3, is true or false? Number 3 is true. Okay. And for number 4, it is false. Phineas Harper ở trong cuộc phỏng vấn thì có nói rằng in the case of Millennium Bridge, they just didn't see the wobble coming at all. Ở đây wobble có nghĩa là gì ạ? Wobble là sự rung lắc hoặc là sự lắc lư. Như vậy theo cái anh Phineas Harper thì trong tình huống của chiếc cầu này thì những cái nhà quản lý dự án đơn giản là họ không nhìn thấy cái tình huống rung lắc có thể xảy ra. So the answer is false. Number 5, it is true. Okay. And for number 6 is also true. Number 7 is true. Ở trong video thì cô hướng dẫn chương trình có nói rằng the work resulted in even greater budget and schedule overrun. Ở đây mình để ý cụm từ là greater budget và schedule overrun. Có nghĩa là cái việc sửa chữa này thì yêu cầu chi phí cao hơn và bị quá tiến độ thời gian theo yêu cầu. Alright. And for number 8, is it true or false? Number 8 is false. Ở trong video chúng ta có nghe được thông tin rằng 2 years after the initial problems, the bridge finally reopened and it remains a popular London's attraction. Như vậy sau một thời gian sửa chữa thì chiếc cầu được mở lại và nó vẫn là một cái điểm rất là thu hút khách du lịch ở London. Alright, so the answer is false. Now let's move on to exercise 4. I have 2 questions for you. The first question is, could you please think of another examples of project or product failing and becoming big news? What happened? Alright, here is example answer. Do you remember the story of the Titanic? When the Titanic was built in 1912, she was the biggest and most luxurious ship in the world. She was 269 meters long and carried 2,200 passengers. People said that she was unsinkable, but the Titanic sank on her maiden first voyage from England to New York. The second question is, some people still call the Millennium Bridge the Wobbly Bridge. Do you think this means the bridge will always be seen as failure? Why or why not? What's your opinion? In my opinion, the problem with the bridge will always be part of its story, but they were fixed, which can be seen as a great success. Now let's start with the vocabulary part. In this part, you can learn and practice the vocabulary related to managing project. Exercise 5. Complete the sentences from the video using the words and phrases in the box. Firstly, please spend some time reading through all the words and phrases in the box. Are there any new words for you? You can see on the screen the meaning of some words. Anticipating means expecting or preparing for. Milestone means point in a project that you plan to reach at a certain time. Risk register means a list of common risks to look out for. Setback, a problem that causes a delay. Now, please spend some time doing the exercise from the sentence 1 to sentence 4. Now let's check the answers together. For number 1, which one should be filled in here? Over budget, yes. And number 2. Number 2 should be risk management. Number 3. So that's anticipating, yes. And number 4, after a setback like this, right? Have you completed all the sentences correctly? Now please spend some time doing the rest of the exercise from sentence 5 to sentence 8. Now let's check the answers together. For number 5, which one did you choose? Number 5 should be milestones, right? And number 6, I don't think it's fair to blame the project managers, right? Number 7, it's not the kind of risk you can just predict easily. And number 8, the last one, it should be risk register, right? Have you completed all the sentences correctly? Okay, well done. Now we continue with section vocabulary of part 3.1. In this section, we are going to learn word building, verbs, and nouns. In English, words or past words are sometimes used in different parts of speech. Let's have a look at the examples below. My brother manages a Japanese restaurant. So in this context, manage here is the verb and it means to control or be in charge of a business. My brother said that restaurant management is a challenging job. So in this sentence, management is a noun and it means the activity of running and controlling a business. And when I say I want to be a restaurant manager like my brother, so manager here is also a noun, and it means a person who is in charge of running a business. Let's see some more examples. We have achieve is a verb and achievement is a noun. Disappoint is a verb and the noun is disappointment. Act is a verb and action is a noun. Collect is a verb and the noun is collection. Please note that ment and shin often appear on the end of nouns. Now let's practice. Complete the table with the correct word form. You see that the first line was done for you. Manage is a verb and management is a noun, right? Okay, so now let's spend some time doing the exercise. Have you finished? Now let's check the answers together. Number 1, construction. Number 2, suspension. Number 3, the verb is move. All right. Number 4, we need to complete the verb, right? So the verb of the noun investigation is investigate. All right. So what about number 5? The noun is communication. And number 6, the noun is identification. All right. Number 7, we have the noun solution and the verb is solve. All right. Number 8, the noun is addition. Number 9, the verb is attach. And the last one, number 10, decision. Okay. Have you done it correctly? Now please look at all the words on the screen again and please pay attention to the word stress. When we add ending to these words, does the stress stay on the same syllable or does it move to a different syllable? Như vậy phần này thì mình sẽ tập trung vào phần trọng âm của từ. Như các bạn thấy là chúng ta có thể thêm một cái đuôi như đuôi ment hay đuôi shin vào động từ để chuyển nó sang danh từ, đúng không ạ? Vậy thì khi chúng ta thêm cái đuôi như vậy để chuyển loại từ thì cái trọng âm của từ sẽ vẫn giữ nguyên ở cái âm tiết đó hay là chuyển sang âm tiết khác. Đầu tiên, các bạn chú ý vào các từ mà cô có đánh dấu sao vàng ở đây ạ. Và các bạn nghe cô đọc, sau đó mình sẽ nhận biết là với những cái từ này thì cái trọng âm sẽ vẫn ở nguyên cái âm tiết đó hay chuyển sang âm tiết khác giữa các từ loại khác nhau ạ. The first one, the verb manage and the noun management. Như vậy từ này thì cái trọng âm vẫn giữ nguyên ở âm tiết đầu tiên, đúng không ạ? The second one, the verb construct, the noun construction. Ở phần này thì chúng ta thấy là âm tiết vẫn giữ nguyên ở âm thứ hai, đúng không ạ? Struck, alright. Next one, suspend, suspension, move, movement, attach, attachment, decide, decision. Như vậy là với những cái từ mà có đánh dấu sao vàng này thì mình thấy là chúng ta đổi từ động từ sang danh từ thì cái trọng âm vẫn không thay đổi. Alright, so now let's look at the words with the signal pink heart here. Nào chúng ta sẽ nhìn tới các từ mà có đánh dấu tim ở đây ạ. Và cô sẽ đọc các từ này. Các bạn một lần nữa lưu ý là trọng âm vẫn giữ nguyên ở cái âm tiết giống như động từ, hay là sang danh từ chuyển sang một cái âm tiết khác. Investigate, investigation. Ở đây thì đối với động từ trọng âm rơi vào âm tiết thứ hai, vest, đúng không ạ? Sang danh từ trọng âm không còn ở vest nữa mà lại chuyển sang gay. Investigation. Communicate, communication. Ở phần này cũng thế đúng không ạ? Trọng âm chuyển sang k. Identify, identification. Solve, solution. Add, addition. Như vậy với những cái từ mà tim hồng này thì khi chúng ta thêm đuôi để chuyển từ động từ sang danh từ thì trọng âm cũng đổi sang một âm tiết khác. Các bạn lưu ý nhé. Now let's move on to exercise 7a. Choose the correct option in italics to complete the sentences. Please spend some time doing exercise 7a from number 1 to number 3. Now let's check the answers together. Ở câu số 1, mình dùng động từ construct hay là danh từ construction ạ? Đáp án là danh từ construction. Large public construction project, dự án xây dựng công cộng lớn. Alright, ở đây sẽ là risk đi với động từ manage hay là danh từ management. Ta có một cụm danh từ là risk management, quản trị rủi ro. Right, number 2, câu số 2. Mình sẽ dùng động từ hay là danh từ. Các bạn để ý ta có to, như vậy sau to sẽ đi với cả một động từ nguyên thể. To investigate and identify. Find a, động từ solve hay là danh từ solution. Mình có a là mạo từ, nó sẽ đi với cả danh từ a solution. Câu số 3, ở đây mình có the engineers là chủ ngữ, additional part là tân ngữ, và ta thiếu một động từ attach. Alright. Giờ là mạo từ đúng không ạ? Nên ta sử dụng động từ hay là danh từ? Sử dụng danh từ the movement. Move on to exercise 7b. So in this exercise, you need to choose one question in 7a and give your view. You can see on the screen 3 questions in 7a. Please spend some time choosing one question, thinking about it, and sharing your view. Have you finished? Which question did you choose? I chose question number 1. In my opinion, in large public construction projects like the Millennium Bridge, risk management is so important because if something goes wrong, many people could be injured or killed. Did you choose the same question? What is your view? Let's move on to part project. In this part, you have the opportunity to do a project debriefing. So what does debrief mean? It means discuss a project after completion in order to discover what went well and what could be improved next time. You see on the screen a form project debriefing. Let's look at the form together. As you can see, the information should be written in the form are project descriptions, team members, successes, challenges, lesson learned or improvement for next time. What you have to do now is to think about a project you have worked on in education, the job, as well as a hobby, and then answer the 5 questions below and complete the form. The first question, what was project? The possible ideas can be a presentation, a performance, painting, a paper or other pieces of writing, building a thing, painting or decorating, organizing an event. The answer of this question can be filled in the project description in the form. The second question, who did you work with on the project? The answer of this question can be filled in the team members in the form. The third question, what went well with the project? The answer of this question can be filled in the successes in the form. And the fourth question, what was the project's biggest challenges? The schedule, the budget, working with a team, getting the content right, or something else? The answer of this question can be filled in the challenges in the form, right? And the fifth question, what could you do differently next time? The answer for question 5 can be filled in the lessons learned or improvements for next time in the form. Alright, so now please spend some time doing the exercise. Have you finished answering the question and filling in the form project debriefing? Alright, so now I share with you my project debriefing. I created a presentation for biology class. I explained the animals and plants of the Sahara Desert. I worked with 2 classmates. The successes of the project were that the research was good and the content was interesting. One of the challenges is the presentation. We were nervous and the talk was too quiet and boring. So I think next time I should practice more in order to give a good and interesting presentation. Let's move on to exercise 9. Based on debriefing documents, make a list of do's and don'ts for project managers. Don't is what you should not do, and do is what you should do. For example, we should not wait until the last minute to start work, and we should meet the team members regularly. Please spend some time thinking about do's and don'ts for project managers. Alright, have you completed the list of do's and don'ts for project managers? Let's see the examples answers on the screen for don't and do. So you should not try to do too much. We should not make an unreasonable schedule. We should not expect other people to do all the work. We should not forget to share information with everyone on a team, and we should not try to do everything ourselves. Alright, and about the do, so we should plan carefully, we should communicate with the team, we should make a clear schedule, we should practice presentation, and we also should share the work equally. Please look at the list of do's and don'ts on the screen and also on your list. Then choose the best 5 do's and don'ts for project managers and give the reasons. Now let's move on to the second part of Lesson 5, Unit 3.2, Large-Scale Project. So in this part, learners are going to learn and practice making comparisons. So let's start with exercise 1A. Please look at the map and photos. As you can see, here are the photos of 3 canals built in different locations in the world. So photo 1 is the Panama Canal, photo 2 is the Suez Canal, and photo 3 is the Grand Canal. So what you have to do is look at the map and the photos and answer the questions. Number 1, why do governments decide to build shipping canals? What are the benefits? Number 2, What kinds of jobs does this sort of building project create? Who works on a big canals building project? And number 3, can you name any other shipping canals? Please spend some time thinking about the questions. Let's answer the questions together. So for number 1, what are the benefits do you think? Building shipping canals, there will be easier trade, shorter journeys for ships, and more revenue from charging canal users, right? And for number 2, so what kinds of jobs does such a building project create? Some jobs can be engineers, laborers, cook to feed the workers, specialized machine operator. And for number 3, so some of the longest shipping canals in the world are Eurasia Canal in Russia, Erie Canal in the USA, and Nara Canal in Pakistan. Alright. Let's move on to exercise 1B. Please have a look again at the map and the photos, then match each description below with the canal on the map. Please spend some time doing the exercise. Have you finished? Okay, so let's check the answers together. So which canal goes through the desert in Egypt, connecting the Mediterranean Sea with the Red Sea? It is the Suez Canal, right? And which canal connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans by crossing Central America? Alright, this is the Panama Canal. And which one connects the Chinese capital city of Beijing with several rivers and other cities? This is the Grand Canal. Alright. Now let's move on listening part. You are going to hear about the 3 canals, the Grand Canal, the Suez Canal, and the Panama Canal. What you have to do is to listen to the audio and match each canal with 2 facts from A to F. Now please spend some time reading the facts from A to F. Now let's listen and do the matching.
Unit 3, Recording 1.
China's Grand Canal, which connects the cities of Beijing and Hangzhou, is 1,700 kilometers long. It's the longest artificial waterway in the world and an important shipping route through the years. But what's more amazing than the length of the canal is its age. Work on the project began in the 5th century BC, more than 2,500 years ago. There was never a plan or budget for the whole project. A series of Chinese governments built and extended the canal in sections over a period of 1,700 years, finally finishing it in the 1280s. When they were working the hardest on the project, 5 million men and women were involved in the construction, mostly labourers, but also engineers. Today, only the section between the cities of Hangzhou and Jinying, about 500 kilometres, is open for shipping. It is about 100 metres wide at its narrowest point. In some places, the canal is less than a metre deep. The Suez Canal in Egypt connects the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea. Work started in 1859. They thought the project would take 6 years, but they finished later than planned, in 1869, 4 years behind schedule. At one point, 5 million people worked on the project, mostly labourers, but also engineers, accountants, and project managers. Some sources say that at least 30,000 people were working on the canal at all times during its construction. The project ran 1,900% over budget. the total cost was $100 million. But it is still one of the most important shipping routes in the world. With a length of about 190 kilometers, the canal makes the journey between the North Atlantic and the Indian Ocean much shorter than going around Africa. It reduces the trip by 7,000 kilometers, making the journey less difficult and time-consuming. At its shallowest point, the canal is about 12 meters deep and 55 meters wide. The Panama Canal in Central America connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. In 1881, a team from France started work on the project after seeing the success of the Suez Canal. However, the Panama team had to work a lot harder than the Suez team. Construction in the jungles of Panama wasn't as straightforward as digging in Egypt's dry, sandy desert. In fact, the digging itself was the least challenging part of the job. Dealing with the heavy rains made work impossible at times. The team missed target after target, soon falling behind schedule. They finally gave up in 1889 when they ran out of money. 15 years later, an American team took over the project. Work on the canal began again in 1904. It took 75,000 workers 10 years to build the 77-kilometre canal, 4 years longer than the original estimate of 6 years. The team included engineers, specialised machine operators, and of course labourers. Finally, in August 1914, the first ship passed through the canal. Amazingly, although the canal cost $375 million to build, the project came in $23 million under budget. At its narrowest point, the canal is about 33 meters wide and 12 meters deep.
Alright, so now let's check the answers together. Chúng ta sẽ cùng check đáp án của bài này nhé. Đối với Grand Canal thì thông tin nào từ A tới F có thể nối được với Grand Canal ạ? So this is D is the oldest. Alright. Ở trong bài nghe chúng ta có thấy đề cập tới một thông tin là The project began more than 2,500 years ago. Hơn 2.500 năm trước đây. Alright, so this is the oldest canal among the three canals. Alright, so the next one, the next fact of Grand Canal. Tiếp theo là A took the longest to build. Các bạn có nghe được thông tin là đã mất bao nhiêu lâu để xây dựng cái kênh đào này không ạ? It took over a period of 1,700 years, khoảng 1.700 năm để hoàn thành cái kênh đào này. Right. So let's move on to the two facts of a Suez Canal. Đối với kênh đào Suez thì chúng ta có hai thông tin là alright, the first one is took 10 years to build. Mất 10 năm để xây dựng, đúng không ạ? Các bạn có nhớ là kênh đào này bắt đầu xây dựng từ năm nào và chính thức kết thúc vào năm nào không ạ? Right? The work started in 1859 and it ended in 1869. So it took 10 years to build the Suez Canal. And the second fact of Suez Canal, what it is? It was more expensive than expected. Nó đắt hơn là dự kiến, đúng không ạ? Các bạn có ghi chú lại được là đắt hơn bao nhiêu phần trăm so với ngân sách không? Ok, ở trong bài thì có một thông tin là It ran 1,900% over budget. Vượt ngân sách 1.900%. Alright, so it was more expensive than expected. Và mình còn lại hai thông tin là C was cheaper than expected and F opened in 1914. So these two facts for sure belong to Panama Canal, right? Các bạn có nhớ được cái thông tin mà liên quan tới hai câu C và F về kênh đào Panama không ạ? Okay, so in the recording it was said that in August 1914, the first ship passed through the canal. Vậy cái tàu đầu tiên mà đi qua kênh đào Panama là vào tháng 8 năm 1914. Right. Và thông tin thứ hai là về chi phí, đúng không ạ? Was cheaper than expected. Ở trong đoạn bài nghe thì có thông tin là the project came in $23 million under budget. Tức là ít hơn ngân sách dự kiến là 23 triệu đô la. Tức là rẻ hơn kỳ vọng. Alright. Ở đây chúng ta chú ý tới hai cụm từ là over budget và under budget. We say over budget when you want to say the cost is higher or more expensive than expected. Vượt ngân sách. And under budget when you want to say the cost is lower or cheaper than expected. Là thấp hơn ngân sách dự kiến. Alright. We continue with section listening, part 3.2, exercise 3. We now listen again to the recording of 3 canals. What you have to do is to complete the information about each project. So we start first with Grand Canal in China. You listen and fill in the blank from number 1 to number 3. Như vậy ở câu số 1 thì mình sẽ cần phải nghe được cái độ dài của cái kênh đào này, the length of the canal. Ở câu số 2 thì mình sẽ nghe tổng số năm để hoàn thành cái dự án này, đúng không ạ? Và câu số 3 thì mình sẽ phải nghe tổng số người đã tham gia vào dự án. Các bạn sẽ nghe một lần và điền từ số 1 đến số 3.
Unit 3, Recording 1.
China's Grand Canal, which connects the cities of Beijing and Hangzhou, is 1,700 kilometers long. It's the longest artificial waterway in the world and an important shipping route through the years. But what's more amazing than the length of the canal is its age. Work on the project began in the 5th century BC, more than 2,500 years ago. There was never a plan or budget for the whole project. A series of Chinese governments built and extended the canal in sections over a period of 1,700 years, finally finishing it in the 1280s. When they were working the hardest on the project, 5 million men and women were involved in the construction, mostly labourers, but also engineers. Today, only the section between the cities of Hangzhou and Jinying, about 500 kilometres, is open for shipping. It is about 100 metres wide at its narrowest point. In some places, the canal is less than a metre deep.
So let's check the answers together. So for number 1, how long is the Grand Canal? It is 1,700 kilometers, right? And for number 2, so how long did it take to complete the canal? The answer for number 2 is 1,700 years, right? And for number 3, how many people working for the project? The number is 5 million men and women. Alright. Now let's move on to Suez Canal in Egypt. Ở phần này thì các bạn cũng nghe và sẽ điền vào các câu từ số 4 đến số 9. Như vậy ở câu số 4 thì mình sẽ phải điền về cái thời gian mà cái dự án xây dựng kênh đào Suez chậm hơn bao nhiêu năm. Late by how many years, right? Ở câu số 5 và câu số 6 thì các bạn lưu tâm một chút. Mình hình dung nôm na là khi xây dựng một cái dự án thì ở những thời điểm khác nhau thì số lượng người tham gia có thể là khác nhau. Right. Như vậy ở câu số 5 thì mình sẽ nghe tổng số người tham gia dự án, hay nói cách khác là ở một cái thời điểm nào đó thì cái số lượng người lớn nhất đã tham gia dự án là bao nhiêu. Còn ở câu số 6 thì mình sẽ nghe số lượng người tham gia dự án at any given time, tức là ở bất kể một thời điểm nào trong suốt toàn bộ quá trình làm dự án thì cũng sẽ có tối thiểu là bao nhiêu người đã tham gia cái dự án này. Right. Đối với câu số 7 thì mình sẽ điền cái số phần trăm mà vượt ngân sách. Thông tin này thì ở bài số 2 vừa rồi thì mình cũng đã có nhắc đến, các bạn có nhớ không ạ? Right. Đối với câu số 8 thì mình sẽ nghe the length of Suez Canal, độ dài, đúng không ạ? Và câu số 9 thì mình sẽ nghe minimum width, cái chiều ngang hoặc là độ rộng nhỏ nhất ở cái đoạn hẹp nhất của kênh đào. The width at its shallowest point. Alright, so now you listen and fill the blank from number 4 to number 9.
The Suez Canal in Egypt connects the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea. Work started in 1859. They thought the project would take 6 years, but they finished later than planned in 1869, 4 years behind schedule. At one point, 5 million people worked on the project, mostly labourers, but also engineers, accountants and project managers. Some sources say that at least 30,000 people were working on the canal at all times during its construction. The project ran 1,900% over budget. The total cost was $100 million. But it is still one of the most important shipping routes in the world. With a length of about 190 kilometres, the canal makes the journey between the North Atlantic and the Indian Ocean much shorter than going around Africa. It reduces the trip by 7,000 kilometres, making the journey less difficult and time-consuming. At its shallowest point, the canal is about 12 metres deep and 55 metres wide.
Now let's check the answer together. So for number 4, how many years that they finished the project later than planned? The answer is 4 years. Okay. And for number 5, ở câu số 5 mình điền là tổng số người tham gia là 5 million people in total. Alright. And for number 6, với câu số 6 thì mình có một cái thông tin ở trong bài là some sources say that at least 30,000 people were working on the canal at all times during its construction. Như vậy ở bất kể một thời điểm nào trong suốt quá trình mà thực hiện cái dự án này thì cũng có tối thiểu là 30.000 người tham gia vào dự án. Right. For number 7, the answer is 1,900%. And for number 8, how long is the Suez Canal? Yes, it is 190 kilometers. And for number 9, the minimum width of Suez Canal is 55 meters. Right. Let's move on to Panama Canal in Panama. So you listen to the recording and fill in the blank from number 10 to number 14. For number 10, you have to listen for the length of the Panama Canal. For number 11, Please listen for the number of the years that the project finished later than planned. For number 12, please listen for total cost of building the canal. And for number 13 and 14, please listen for the width and depth of the canal at its narrowest point. Now listen and fill in the blank.
The Panama Canal in Central America connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. In 1881, a team from France started work on the project after seeing the success of the Suez Canal. However, the Panama team had to work a lot harder than the Suez team. Construction in the jungles of Panama wasn't as straightforward as digging in Egypt's dry, sandy desert. In fact, the digging itself was the least challenging part of the job. Dealing with the heavy rains made work impossible at times. The team missed target after target, soon falling behind schedule. They finally gave up in 1889 when they ran out of money. 15 years later, an American team took over the project. Work on the canal began again in 1904. It took 75,000 workers 10 years to build the 77-kilometre canal, 4 years longer than the original estimate of 6 years. The team included engineers, specialised machine operators, and of course labourers. Finally, in August 1914, the first ship passed through the canal. Amazingly, although the canal cost $375 million to build, the project came in $23 million under budget. At its narrowest point, the canal is about 33 metres wide and 12 metres deep.
Alright, now let's check the answer together. So for number 10, how long is the canal? The answer for number 10 is 77 kilometers, right? And for number 11, the answer for number 11 is 4 years, right? And for number 12, so how much did it cost to build the canal? $375 million, right? And number 13 and 14, the minimum width of the canal is 33 meters and the minimum depth of Panama Canal is 12 meters, right? We continue with section grammar, comparatives and superlatives. Ở bài học này, phần ngữ pháp chúng ta sẽ tập trung về so sánh. Các bạn cùng với cô xem các ví dụ sau đây. Ví dụ thứ nhất, the new computers are as good as the old ones. Những cái máy tính mới này thì cũng tốt như là những cái máy tính cũ. Ở đây chúng ta sử dụng so sánh ngang bằng us plus adjective plus us to say two things are more or less equal. Ở dạng phủ định ta sẽ thêm not us adjective us to say one thing does not match another. Ví dụ, construction in the jungles of Panama was not as straightforward as digging in Egypt's dry sandy desert. Câu này ý muốn nói là cái việc xây dựng ở kênh đào ở rừng rậm Panama thì không được dễ dàng như là cái việc đào kênh ở khu vực sa mạc ở Ai Cập. Như vậy hai câu này là sử dụng so sánh ngang bằng. Các bạn cùng xem với cô các ví dụ sau đây. They finished later than planned. Họ kết thúc muộn hơn là dự kiến. But what was more amazing than the length of the canal is its age. Cái điều mà đáng ngạc nhiên hơn là cái độ dài của kênh đào là tuổi của nó. It makes the journey less difficult and time consuming. Việc này khiến cho cái hành trình thì ít khó khăn hơn và ít mất thời gian hơn. Như vậy ba câu này chúng ta sử dụng so sánh hơn, comparatives, to say how two or more people or things are different. Để thực hiện việc so sánh hơn thì chúng ta sẽ có một số quy tắc sau. Với các tính từ hoặc là trạng từ có một âm tiết thì mình sẽ thêm đuôi và mình sẽ có then. They finished later than planned. Với các tính từ và trạng từ có từ 2 âm tiết trở lên thì mình sử dụng more hoặc là less. More amazing, đáng ngạc nhiên hơn. Less difficult, ít khó khăn hơn. Trong so sánh hơn thì mình cũng sẽ có một số tính từ và một số trạng từ ở dạng bất quy tắc và cô sẽ giới thiệu với các bạn về việc bất quy tắc này sau. Các bạn cùng xem với cô các ví dụ tiếp theo. It's the longest artificial waterway in the world. It's still one of the most important shipping routes in the world. In fact, digging itself was the least challenging part of the job. Ví dụ câu số 2 này, it is still one of the most important shipping routes in the world. Đây vẫn là cái tuyến đường thủy mà quan trọng nhất ở trên thế giới, đúng không ạ? Họ thực hiện việc so sánh cái tuyến đường thủy này với tất cả các tuyến đường thủy khác ở trên thế giới. Như vậy, khi mình thực hiện việc so sánh một vật, một sự việc, một người với một nhóm nào đó, nhiều nhất hoặc là ít nhất thì mình sử dụng so sánh nhất, superlatives, to say one thing has more or less of a quality than any other thing in the same group. Để thực hiện việc so sánh nhất thì chúng ta có một số quy tắc. Thứ nhất là các bạn thấy là chúng ta sẽ luôn có the, đúng không ạ? The longest, the most important và the least challenging. Thứ hai là với những cái tính từ hoặc trạng từ mà có một âm tiết như long là dài, đúng không ạ? Thì mình sử dụng thêm đuôi ist ở cuối từ the longest. Với các tính từ hoặc là trạng từ có từ 2 âm tiết trở lên, mình sẽ sử dụng the most hoặc là the least. The most important, quan trọng nhất. The least challenging, ít thử thách nhất. Cũng giống như là so sánh hơn thì với so sánh nhất có một số tính từ và trạng từ ở dạng bất quy tắc. Chúng ta sẽ cùng xem ở phần tiếp theo. We continue with section grammar. Trước khi chúng ta làm bài tập để luyện tập về so sánh, cô mời các bạn nhìn lên màn hình. Ở đây cô có tóm tắt một bảng về quy tắc biến đổi tính từ, trạng từ khi sử dụng so sánh hơn và so sánh nhất. Đồng thời, cô cũng sẽ giới thiệu tới các bạn một số trường hợp bất quy tắc. Như cô có đề cập ở phần trước, thì với các tính từ, trạng từ có một âm tiết hoặc một số tính từ, trạng từ có 2 âm tiết, thì để so sánh hơn, chúng ta sẽ thêm đuôi và so sánh nhất chúng ta thêm đuôi ist và có the ở phía trước. Đối với các tính từ, trạng từ có từ 2 âm tiết trở lên, để so sánh hơn, chúng ta sẽ thêm more là nhiều hơn và thêm less là ít hơn ở trước tính từ hoặc là trạng từ. Và để so sánh nhất, chúng ta thêm the most, nhiều nhất, hoặc là the least, ít nhất ở trước tính từ hoặc là trạng từ. Đối với so sánh hơn và so sánh nhất thì có các tình huống là bất quy tắc. Ví dụ, đối với so sánh hơn, chúng ta có good là tốt, đúng không ạ? Đây là tính từ, và wow là trạng từ, thì so sánh hơn là better. Ta có bad và badly, tính từ và trạng từ, thì so sánh hơn là worse, xấu, xấu hơn. Đối với so sánh nhất thì chúng ta sẽ có good, tốt, the best là tốt nhất, và bad là xấu, xấu nhất là the worst. Với các trường hợp bất quy tắc này, các bạn lưu ý học thuộc để có thể sử dụng được đúng. Now let's practice comparatives and superlatives. Chúng ta sẽ làm bài tập để luyện tập so sánh ngang, so sánh hơn và so sánh nhất. Như các bạn thấy ở trên màn hình là toàn bộ các thông tin về 3 kênh đào Grand Canal, Suez Canal and Panama Canal. Vì chúng ta cần phải làm là phải sử dụng các cái thông tin về các kênh đào này để so sánh các kênh đào với nhau. Các bạn có thể thêm then hoặc là ss khi thực hiện việc so sánh. Chúng ta sẽ cùng làm với nhau câu số 1. Như vậy ở câu số 1 này thì mình sẽ phải so sánh chiều dài của Suez Canal và Grand Canal. Vậy chiều dài của Suez Canal là 190 km và chiều dài của Grand Canal là 1.700 km. Như vậy, the Suez Canal is not as long as the Grand Canal. Alright. Các bạn sẽ làm tiếp câu số 2 và câu số 3. Now let's check the answer together. Chúng ta sẽ cùng xem đáp án ạ. Như vậy câu số 2 thì mình sẽ sử dụng so sánh hơn, hay là so sánh nhất, hay là so sánh ngang bằng ạ. Ở đây mình sẽ so sánh cái kênh đào Suez này trong cả 3 kênh đào với nhau, đúng không ạ? Như vậy mình sử dụng so sánh nhất. So the Suez Canal was the least profitable project of the three. Ở đây mình có thông tin là Suez Canal was more expensive than expected. Alright. Number 3, we also use superlatives. Ở câu số 3 này mình cũng sử dụng so sánh nhất, đúng không ạ? So sánh Grand Canal trong nhóm cả 3 cái kênh đào này với nhau. Đây mình có thông tin là Grand Canal is the oldest. So, the Grand Canal is the least modern of the three canals. Chúng ta sẽ làm tiếp đối với câu số 4, số 5 và số 6. Các bạn để ý ở đây câu số 4, câu số 5, câu số 6 thì mình so sánh hai sự vật sự việc, đúng không ạ? Ở câu số 4 mình so sánh Suez Canal với Panama Canal. Câu số 5 mình so sánh Panama Canal và Grand Canal. Và câu số 6 mình so sánh Panama Canal và Suez Canal. Như vậy với câu số 4, câu số 5, câu số 6 mình sẽ sử dụng so sánh ngang bằng hoặc là so sánh hơn. Các bạn dành ra vài phút để làm câu số 4, 5, 6 ạ. Nào chúng ta cùng xem đáp án. Câu số 4 sẽ là The Suez Canal was not as expensive as the Panama Canal. Number 5. The workforce on the Panama Canal was not as large as the workforce on the Grand Canal. And number 6. Work on the Panama Canal finished later than work on the Suez Canal. Now let's move on to listening part. Before listening, let's together find out what is a bit. Have you ever heard about the word a bit? As you can see on the screen, a bid is an offer to do work or provide services for specific prices. Often, when a company needs a product or services, it will ask several possible suppliers to bid for the job or product. At a minimum, this will include a price, schedule, and budget. After considering several bids, a company will usually choose one and sign a contract with that supplier. So, in this part, we are going to listen to 3 bids for a new computer network. For exercise 6B, please listen and complete the notes. Before listening, please spend some time looking at this table to see which information is included. Trước khi làm bài nghe thì chúng ta cùng xem cái bảng dưới đây để xem là chúng ta sẽ phải điền những cái thông tin nào mà có trong bài nghe ạ. Ở đây cô sẽ tạm gọi các bit A, bit B và bit C là nhà cung cấp A, B, C. So the first one, when they can start. Mình sẽ phải nghe thông tin là những cái nhà cung cấp này sẽ bắt đầu công việc vào thời gian nào, mà cụ thể là vào ngày nào. Như vậy ở đây mình sẽ nghe thông tin về ngày, đúng không ạ? Tiếp theo, how long it will take. Sẽ mất bao nhiêu lâu để cho mỗi một cái nhà cung cấp này có thể hoàn thành được công việc của họ. Ở đây mình sẽ nghe về cái số ngày, the number of the days that they can complete the job. Tiếp theo là chúng ta sẽ nghe thông tin là can we continue using the office. Như vậy trong quá trình các nhà cung cấp ABC này họ làm việc thì cái văn phòng vẫn có thể mở và hoạt động bình thường hay là phải đóng cửa để cho họ có thể làm. And about the product support. Các nhà cung cấp ABC thì có cung cấp thêm các cái dịch vụ khác sản phẩm hay không? Hay là không có cung cấp dịch vụ sản phẩm nào cả? The guarantee. Mình sẽ nghe xem là cái thời gian và cụ thể là số năm mà các nhà cung cấp này bảo hành cho cái sản phẩm của họ. Và cuối cùng là price, giá cả. thì sẽ nghe là toàn bộ cái gói sản phẩm mà họ cung cấp mà họ làm thì sẽ mất bao nhiêu tiền. Alright, so now you listen and complete the notes.
Unit 3, Recording 3. Bid A.
We can start the installation 2 weeks from now, on February 20th. It will take our 2 technicians 5 days, but you can continue working in the office the whole time, so it's convenient. Our price doesn't include product support. We can provide a separate bid for that, but we do guarantee the hardware and the installation for 3 years. We can do the job for €13,000.
Bid B.
We can do the job next week, on February the 13th. We can send 10 technicians and finish the job in 1 day, but you'll need to leave the office completely empty for us so we can work. The price includes full product support and training, if you need it. This also includes the hardware manufacturer's standard 1-year guarantee. It will be €17,000 for everything.
Bid C.
We need to order the hardware from our supplier, and it will take 3 weeks to deliver. That means I can start the job 1 month from today, on the 6th of March. I'll do the installation myself over 3 weekends, so it will take 3 weeks to finish, but you won't see me. It won't interrupt your work at all. I'm happy to give full product support, and I guarantee the entire installation for 2 years. The whole package is €11,000.
Alright, now let's check the answer together. So when they can start? Bid A can start on the 20th of February. Bid B can start on the 13th of February and bid C on March the 6th. Alright, and how long it will take? For bid A, 5 days. For bid B, 1 day only. And for bid C, 3 weeks, right? And what about continuing working in the office? So for bid A, yes. For bid B, no. We need to leave the office empty for them so they can work. And for bid C, yes, we can continue working in the office. For product support, so for bid A, no support. Bid B, yes, and bid C, yes. For the guarantee, bid A for 3 years, bid B 1 year, and bid C 2 years. And for the price, so in total, the total cost that the bid A offer is €30,000. For bid B, €17,000, and for bid C, €11,000. Alright, so can you complete all the notes correctly? Right, so now we back to exercise 6A, answer the questions. The question number 1, which supplier can start the soonest? So we see the information in line 1 here, and the answer is bid B, right? And for question 2, which supplier is the cheapest? And for the price here, right? So bid C is the cheapest. Okay. Now let's move to speaking part. In this part, you are going to choose a company among 3 bids A, B, C mentioned in exercise 6 to install the new computer network. Please follow 3 steps. Step 1, look at the notes in exercise 6B. Step 2, compare the bids using comparatives and superlatives form of the words in the box. And step 3, choose a bid and give reasons. Now please spend some time doing the exercise. Have you finished? Now let's look at the example answer together. Among 3 bits, we can see that bit B can finish the work in the shortest time. Bit A completes the work faster than bit C and slower than bit B. It's more convenient to work with bit A and bit C because we can continue working in the office the whole time. If we choose bit B, we need to leave the office completely empty for them, which is more inconvenient. Among 3 bits, bit B offers the most expensive price and bit C offers the cheapest price. So which bit do you choose? I myself choose bit A, and the reason I already explained on the screen. You can see that. Now let's start the lesson with part 3.3, communication skills, giving instruction. Alright, now we start with exercise 1A. Read the statement. Which one do you agree with more? Statement 1. As a leader, you should insist on having your way. And statement 2. As a leader, you should be prepared to listen and change your mind. Please spend some time thinking about these 2 statements. Alright, so which one do you agree with more? Statement 1 or statement 2? Now please have a look on the screen for the example answer. In my opinion, I partly agree with the 2 statements. I think that a leader should listen to others. However, the leader also should be decisive. When there are different opinions from the team members, the leader should make a decision. So do you agree with this opinion? Alright, now let's move to 1B. So we have 2 statements, statement 1 and statement 2. Now please spend some time thinking about the advantages and disadvantages of each approach. Alright, so now we are going to watch a video of discussion about a change to a delivery schedule. There are 3 people in the video, Daniel, Beata, and Clarice. 3 of them are working for a project called the Diap Sensor project. So please watch the video and identify amongst the 3 people who is a supplier, who is the project manager, and who is the main contact. Right? Now let's watch the video and match the names with the roles.
The thing is, I'm going to be really busy on Jessica's new project for the next few weeks, so I need Beata to do the day-to-day work on the diab sensor. I'm sure she'll be able to stand her ground and deal with the various issues, but if she does have problems, I'm still the project manager, and she knows that my door is always open.
Clarice, good to see you. This is Beata. She'll be taking over from me as your main contact on the diab sensor. As you know, Clarice is our main sub-supplier on the project. Her company will be sending us almost all the components. She's almost as vital to the project as I am.
No one could be as vital as you, Dan. Very pleased to meet you, Beata.
Likewise. I'm looking forward to working with you.
I have a meeting room booked. Shall we?
Alright, now let's check the answer together. Như vậy các bạn vừa mới xem đoạn đầu của video. Và ở lúc đấy thì chúng ta có thấy là anh Daniel có nói rằng đợt này anh ấy rất là bận nên sẽ phải chuyển một phần công việc ở trong cái dự án này cho cô Bianta, đúng không ạ? Và trong đó anh ta có nói rằng anh ta vẫn là gì ạ? I'm still the project manager. Alright, như vậy ở đây project manager là Daniel. Tiếp theo khi 3 người gặp nhau và Daniel giới thiệu Beata tới Clarice thì anh ta nói rằng This is Beata. She'll be taking over from me as your main contact of the diab sensor. Như vậy, the main contact of the project is Beata. Alright. Và khi Daniel giới thiệu Clarice tới Bienta thì anh ta nói rằng Clarice is our main sub-supplier on the project. Như vậy sub-supplier ở đây là Clarice. Alright. Now let's move on to exercise 2B. So in the first part of the video, we see that Daniel is very busy and he wants Beata to take some new responsibilities of the project, right? What you have to do now is to watch another part of the video and answer the question, how do you think Beata feels about her new responsibilities? Now let's watch the video and answer the question.
Daniel mentions that he would like me to speak to Clarice about the new requirements. I'm sure I can handle it. I've worked with sub-suppliers and clients on many other projects. And Daniel is always close by in case I need him.
Alright, so have you got the answer for the question? Now please have a look at the screen for the answer. Ở đây thì Beata còn nói rằng I'm sure I can handle it. I've worked with sub-suppliers and clients on many other projects. Daniel is always close by in case I need him. Từ handle ở đây có nghĩa là gì ạ? Trong tình huống này thì handle có nghĩa là giải quyết, xử lý. Tôi chắc chắn rằng tôi có thể giải quyết được việc này, tôi có thể xử lý được việc này. So it seems that Beata is very confident about her new responsibilities, right? So how do you think the meeting between Beata and Clarice will go? Okay, so we see how it goes in the following part of the video. Now let's move on to exercise 2C. Watch the next part of the video. So in this part of the video, we are going to watch Beata and Clarice discuss an issue. In this exercise, you have to answer two questions. Question 1. What is the problem that Beata and Clarice are talking about? And about question 2, here you see a timeline with some specific dates. We have the 17th of April, the 9th of May, the 10th of May, and the 28th of May. Alright, so what you have to do is to watch the video and match the dates on the timeline with the events. So we have here 4 events. Number A, the containers arrived in the UK. Event B, Beata's new deadline for some components. C, the delivery leaves the factory in Shenzhen. And D, the original date for the shipment to arrive in the UK. So you see a timeline here again, and we see that the 9th of May has been done already. So this is the original date for the shipment to arrive in the UK. Như vậy ở cái timeline này thì mình thấy là phần ngày 9 tháng 5 đã được làm sẵn rồi, và nó chính là cái ngày ban đầu mà dự kiến cái việc vận chuyển sẽ tới được UK. Alright. Bây giờ mình sẽ nghe và trả lời cho 2 câu hỏi. Câu hỏi thứ nhất là cái vấn đề đặt ra mà Beata muốn nói chuyện với Clarice là gì? Và thứ hai là mình sẽ match 3 cái event còn lại A, B, C vào cái timeline này ạ. Alright, so now let's watch the video. Now let's watch the next part of the video and answer 2 questions 1 and 2 of exercise 2C.
So, that's the tech side covered. There's just the details of the shipment deadlines to sort out. We need to make some changes. Beata, I'm already late for another meeting. Can you bring Clarice up to speed?
No problem. Leave it with me.
Great.
He's so busy today. Well, we all are.
It looks that way.
Anyway, as Daniel said, I think there is a problem with one of our shipment dates. Here we are. April 17th. That's when the delivery is supposed to leave your factory, isn't it?
Yes, 4 weeks from now.
And the container will arrive on the 28th of May?
That's the plan.
The trouble is that one of our deadlines has been moved forward, so we need at least some of the components by 10th of May. I should have the details here. Yes, these ones. The new schedule would mean we need at least one shipment early, probably by air.
Difficult. That will put a real strain on the budget. We planned to ship everything by sea. It was going to be part of a consignment for the UK.
There's no flexibility, I'm afraid. We really need the components earlier. 2 weeks earlier, in fact.
Okay, I understand your position. I think we can do it. Just let me recalculate the budget. There'll be additional costs.
But is that really our responsibility? The original shipment was due in by the 9th of May. You changed it to the 28th.
That was all cleared with Daniel. Arrangements have been made. If we had known otherwise, we would have shipped earlier.
Alright, so now let's check the answers together. For question 1, what is the problem? Let's have a look on the screen for the conversation between Beata and Clarice. So Beata asked Clarice a question, and the container will arrive on the 28th of May. And Clarice answered, that's the plan. And then Beata said, the trouble is that one of our deadline has been moved forward, so we need at least some of the components by the 10th of May. The new schedule would mean we need at least one shipment early, probably by air. So what is the problem here? The problem is that Beata needs the component earlier than planned, right? Alright, so for question 2, we need to match the dates on the timelines with the events. A. The container arrives in the UK. B. Beata's new deadline for some components. And C. The delivery leaves the factory in Shenzhen. In fact, in this conversation, so you can see the answer, right? So the container will arrive on the 28th of May. So it should be A here, right? And we need at least some of the component by the 10th of May. It means that Beata's new deadline for some component is on the 10th of May. So B here. And the last one, the delivery leaves the factory in Shenzhen on the 17th of April. C. Alright. We continue with section video part 3.3. Trước khi chúng ta xem tiếp các video tiếp theo thì chúng ta sẽ tóm tắt lại cái nội dung của video phần trước đó. Ở đây chúng ta có 3 người là Daniel, Beata và Clarice cùng nhau tham gia một cái dự án tên là Data Center. Ở đây Daniel đóng vai trò là Project Manager, Beata đóng vai trò là Main Contact và Clarice đóng vai trò là Supplier. Nhiệm vụ của Beata là sẽ phải trao đổi với Clarice về một cái vấn đề phát sinh, đó là sự thay đổi về kế hoạch. Theo kế hoạch thì ngày 28 tháng 5, hàng hóa sẽ được vận chuyển bằng đường thủy với các container tới Anh. Thì tuy nhiên do một số cái kế hoạch cần phải đẩy lên sớm hơn, nên là Beata có đề nghị là cái thời hạn cho một số kiện hàng sẽ cần phải để vào ngày mùng 10 tháng 5 và bởi vì thay đổi kế hoạch nên cái vị vận chuyển này có thể sẽ phải thực hiện bằng đường không thay vì thực hiện bằng đường thủy. Với sự thay đổi kế hoạch như thế này thì Clarice cho rằng sẽ rất là áp lực cho vấn đề tài chính và cô ta nghĩ là sẽ phải có thêm chi phí phát sinh. There will be additional cost. Thì tuy nhiên Beata thì không đồng ý với việc chi phí phát sinh này vì Beata cho rằng cái kế hoạch ban đầu đó là ngày 9 tháng 5 thì cái sự vận chuyển này sẽ đã tới Anh rồi, và bởi vì phía Clarice đã thay đổi kế hoạch cho tới ngày 28 tháng 5 nên mới phát sinh câu chuyện là thay đổi một số kiện hàng và đẩy lùi sớm hơn vào ngày 10 tháng 5. Và Clarice có trả lời rằng cái việc thay đổi từ ngày 9 tháng 5 sang ngày 28 tháng 5 là đã được trao đổi với cả Daniel trước đây và hai bên đã thống nhất với nhau về kế hoạch này. Do vậy, các video tiếp theo thì chúng ta sẽ xem rằng Beata và Clarice sẽ trao đổi với nhau như thế nào để giải quyết cái vấn đề này. Right, let's move on to exercise 3A. So for Beata to take in this discussion with Clarice, she has two options, option A and option B. So for option A, that Beata needs to show her authority and stand her ground. And for option B, she can show Clarice that she's willing to help and they need to work well together. So if you were Beata, which option would you choose? Let's think about that. Alright, so if Beata chooses option A, that she needs to show her authority and she should stand her ground. So what may happen? Now let's watch the video and answer the questions. Number 1, is there a solution? If so, what is it? Number 2, how do they arrive at the solution? Number 3, how does Clarice feel and why? And number 4, how will this affect their future working relationship? Alright, now let's watch the video and answer the 4 questions here.
But things have changed now. You need to meet this new deadline. I'm afraid I can't compromise on this.
So there's no flexibility at all? How about a few days later?
I'm afraid I'm just not that flexible. My hands are tied. We need that shipment by the 10th.
All right. Let's be clear here. You now need me to get these components to the UK by the 10th, and I have to cover all the costs myself?
Exactly. Yes.
Seriously, Beata, there's nothing you can do here? No flexibility? Fine. Leave it with me. I'll call the factory in Shenzhen and get back to you.
Excellent. Thank you. I got what I wanted, which is good. And she knows that I am the boss, which is also good. I don't think I'm going to have too many problems with Clarice in the future.
Alright, so let's check the answer together. So for number 1, is there a solution? Có phương án nào được đưa ra không ạ? The answer is there's no solution and Clarice will have to find one. Vậy trong suốt buổi nói chuyện thì Beata luôn đề nghị Clarice phải tìm mọi cách để có thể giải quyết được vấn đề. Đúng không ạ? Và đến cuối video thì Clarice nói rằng cô ấy sẽ liên hệ với cả cái factory extension để tìm phương án. Nhưng mà vẫn chưa có một cái phương án. Hiện tại thì cô ta vẫn chưa có một cái phương án nào cả. And for number 2, how do they arrive at the solution? The answer is Beata simply tells Clarice that she has to find the solution. Và các bạn xem video thì thấy trên toàn bộ suốt cuộc hội thoại thì Clarice có một vài lần hỏi Beata là liệu rằng có thể có sự linh hoạt nào không? Liệu rằng phía Beata có thể giúp gì được không? Và Bianca luôn trả lời rằng không, cô ấy không có bất cứ một sự linh hoạt nào, no flexibility, và cô ấy đề nghị là Caris phải giải quyết cái vấn đề. Như vậy thì trong tình huống đó thì Caris sẽ cảm thấy như thế nào ạ? Number 3. In fact, we do not know, but we can sense that she is not satisfied with the situation. Chúng ta có thể cảm giác là Caris không thoải mái lắm với cái tình huống này khi mà bị ép buộc làm và không có một sự hỗ trợ hay linh hoạt nào từ phía Bianca. And for number 4, how will this affect their future working relationship? Well, I think we do not know too, but it's likely that it has not helped the two women build a strong relationship. Ở đây chúng ta có thể thấy là cái cuộc hội thoại này cho thấy đó là mối quan hệ giữa một boss, đúng không ạ? Như Bianca còn nói ở cuối của video là I am a boss, tôi là chủ, và Caris là người làm việc cho Bianca và cần phải tuân theo những cái đề nghị từ phía Bianca. Alright, so we move on to option B. So if Bianca chooses option B, that she shows Caris that she's willing to help and they need to work well together. So what may happen? So please watch the video option B and answer the 4 questions below. 4 câu hỏi này ở đây thì giống như 4 câu hỏi mà mình đã làm với option A. Đối với option A là Bianca sẽ giữ nguyên cái lập trường của cô ấy, đúng không ạ? Và là chủ trong cái cuộc hội thoại này. Thì ở option B thì phương án là Bianca sẽ cho Caris thấy là cô ấy sẵn lòng giúp đỡ Caris và hai bên cùng hợp tác với nhau. Thì với cái cách thức khác nhau thì cái kết quả mang lại nó có giống nhau không hay là sẽ khác nhau? Các bạn sẽ xem cái video của option B này và trả lời 4 câu hỏi này, xem rằng câu trả lời cho 4 câu hỏi này ở option B nó có giống với câu trả lời cho 4 câu hỏi này ở option A hay không ạ?
Yes, I know that Daniel cleared the existing schedule, but it doesn't change anything. We still need the shipment by the 10th. As I said earlier, I have no room for maneuver on this.
It's a pity we don't have another container leaving this week. We could have sent them straight away. As I say, they're ready to go.
So it seems to me we have 2 problems here. I need the components to arrive by the 10th. You need to be able to cover additional costs. How about this? I could speak to one of our other suppliers. We have another container leaving China this week. Maybe they'll have some space.
That could work. We're talking 2 cubic meters maximum.
Let me make some calls.
I'll see if we can get the components down to the docks in time. Pretty sure we can. Do you know where the container is right now?
Probably still in the factory.
Where's that?
I couldn't point it out on a map, but I know it's in Guangzhou. That's near Shenzhen, right? Looks like this could be a win for both of us.
A big win. And all before lunchtime too.
I'm very happy with how that meeting went. I got what I wanted, and I think that listening to Clarice and trying to solve her problem made our working relationship stronger. That will help me in the future.
Alright, so how do you feel about this conversation? Như vậy ở option B này thì chúng ta cảm thấy cái cuộc hội thoại này nó thoải mái hơn và vui vẻ hơn, đúng không ạ? Và kết thúc thì hai bên đã cùng nhau tìm được cái giải pháp chúng ta thấy là hai bên cùng cầm điện thoại lên và cùng làm việc để tìm ra cái giải pháp cho vấn đề. So for number one, yes, there is a solution, and the solution is that Bentham may be able to transport the consignment via another supplier. Right. Như vậy đối với phương án A thì mình không có một cái giải pháp nào cả, nhưng phương án B này thì mình đã có giải pháp. For number two, they arrive the solution together. Với phương án A thì đơn giản là Bienta nói là cô ta cần phải làm thế nào chuyển được cái hàng vào đúng ngày 10 tháng 5. Nhưng ở option B này thì hai bên cùng làm việc với nhau để tìm ra giải pháp. For number three, ở option A thì Caris cảm thấy không thoải mái lắm, nhưng ở option B này thì cô ấy cảm thấy rất là hài lòng với cái giải pháp này. Cô ấy cười rất là tươi đúng không ạ? And number four, như vậy mối quan hệ của hai người phụ nữ này sẽ khá là tốt vì họ rất là vui vẻ với nhau và hợp tác với nhau trong công việc. So let's move on to exercise 4. We have watched the two videos of option A and option B, and here are two questions. Question 1, was one option better than the other, and give reason for your answer? And question 2, can you think of any other ways Bentham might have handled the situation? Please spend some time thinking about these two questions. So let's move on to exercise 5. Watch the conclusion section of the video and answer the question, what do you need to think about when telling people what to do? Alright, so now let's watch the video.
We all have times when people tell us what to do. We all have times when we need to tell other people what to do. In the clip, we see two ways of doing this. In option A, we see how Beate chooses to use her authority to get the job done. She's in charge and she knows that Clarice will do what she wants. In option B, we see Beate and Clarice working together to find a solution to the problem. So here, she also achieves what she wants, but the outcome seems to be better for Clarice. I think in this option, their relationship improves too. Of course, every situation is different, and it is impossible to say what always works best. But there is an English proverb which might help, to put yourself in the other person's shoes. How would you feel if someone didn't treat you in the way that you treated them? Would you still respect them and work hard for them? This is a question every person in authority has to think about.
Alright, so what's your answer? What do you need to think about when telling people what to do? Now please have a look on the screen for the example answers. And please spend some time reading the possible answer. Alright, so do you agree with this point of view? Yes or no? Các bạn để ý ở phía cuối video thì có một câu nói put yourself in somebody's shoes. Câu này có nghĩa là mình cần đặt mình vào hoàn cảnh của người khác để có thể hiểu và thông cảm cho hoàn cảnh của họ. Các bạn hãy cùng nhau suy nghĩ về câu nói này nhé. Let's move on to the functional language. This exercise highlights expressions from the video that we use to give and respond to instructions and to stand our ground. What you have to do now is to match number 1 to number 7 with A to H to make sentences. There's one ending you don't need. Let's have a look through number 1 to number 7. Is there a new word for you? So here we have the word compromise. So what does this mean? Có nghĩa là thỏa hiệp, right? Compromise. And please have a look through A to H. So is there a new word for you? We have the word maneuver. Maneuver. So in this case, maneuver means adjustment, có nghĩa là sự điều chỉnh, sự thay đổi. Right. Now please spend some time doing the matching. Have you finished? Now let's check the answer together. So for number 1, we match number 1 with 1H. Okay. Can you bring Clarice up to speed? And number 2, no problem, leave it with me. Number 2, we match with C. Alright. And number 3, we match number 3 with F. I have no room for maneuver on this. Tôi không thể nào thay đổi hay là điều chỉnh được cái việc này. And number 4, you need to meet this new deadline. So we match number 4 with A. Number 5, I can't compromise on this. We match number 5 with B. Tôi không thể nào thỏa hiệp được cái việc này. So here we have D, E, G left. So number 6, we match number 6 with D. I think we can do it. As the last one, I'm afraid I'm just not that flexible. So we match 7 with G. Alright, now let's move to exercise 7b. So you have to match the sentences here from 1 to number 7 in exercise 7a with the categories in 7b. So we have 3 categories. A, telling someone what to do. B, responding to an instruction. And C, standing your ground. Như vậy mình sẽ phải cần đưa những cái câu từ câu số 1 đến câu số 7 ở phần 7A vào từng mục thế này. Như vậy là theo các bạn thì những câu nào trong 7 câu này sẽ có thể sử dụng để đề nghị hoặc là yêu cầu hoặc là nói ai đó làm một điều gì đó. Và những câu nào thì mình sử dụng để đáp lại một cái lời hướng dẫn nào đó của ai. Và những câu nào thì mình có thể sử dụng để giữ vững cái lập trường của mình. Alright. Now please spend some time doing the exercise. Alright, now let's check the answer together. So which sentences belong to category A, telling someone what to do? So sentence 1 and 4. Number 1, can you bring Carrie up to speed? And number 4, you need to meet this new deadline. So these 2 sentences we can use to tell someone what to do. Alright, for category B, so we can use number 2 and number 6. So when we want to respond to an instruction, we can say, no problem, leave it with me, or I think we can do it. Alright, and for number C, standing your ground. So which sentences in 7a that we can put here? 3. I have no room for maneuver on this. Tôi không thể nào thay đổi được, không thể nào điều chỉnh được. Number 5. I can't compromise on this. Tôi không thể nào thỏa hiệp được cái việc này. And number 7. I'm afraid I'm just not that flexible. Tôi xin lỗi nhưng mà tôi không thể nào linh hoạt được trong cái việc này. Alright. Now let's move on to exercise 7c. As you can see on the screen, we have 7 sentences from number 1 to number 7. And what you have to do is to match these sentences with the categories A, B, and C. Now please have a look at these 7 sentences from number 1 to number 7 here. Is there any new word for you? So what does flexibility mean? Flexibility có nghĩa là sự linh hoạt. Alright? And what does my hands are tied? Câu này có nghĩa là gì ạ? Câu này có nghĩa là tôi không thể nào làm được cái việc gì đó. Hoặc là một cách nôm na, ở trong tiếng Việt thì mình có một câu có thể ngang nghĩa là tôi bó tay rồi. Alright. So please spend some time to match the phrases from number 1 to number 7 in the category A, B, and C. Now let's check the answer together. So for A, which sentences we can use to tell someone what to do? So we can say, we need you to lower your cost or get more resources, right? And number 4, I'd like you to change the delivery date, deadline, or supplier. And with category B, so which sentences belong to this category? It's number 2 and number 6. So when we want to respond to an instruction, we can say, yes, I can certainly do that. And sure, no problem. And with C, standing your ground. So we can say, I'm sorry, there's no flexibility on this deadline. Tôi xin lỗi, tôi không thể nào linh hoạt trong cái thời hạn này được. Number 5, I would like to help you but I can't. And number 7, my hands are tied. So let's move on to exercise 9. In this exercise, there will be 3 scenarios, and what you have to do is to create conversations following the instruction. Ở bài số 9 này thì mình sẽ có tất cả là 3 tình huống và chúng ta sẽ đọc thông tin cho từng tình huống. Sau đó thì sẽ tạo ra một cuộc hội thoại mà liên quan tới các tình huống đó. Cô và các bạn sẽ cùng nhau làm kỹ cho tình huống số 1. Đối với tình huống số 2 và tình huống số 3 thì cô sẽ đưa ra ví dụ và các bạn sẽ xem ví dụ để tham khảo. So let's start with scenario number 1. There has been a small earthquake. No one in the room is hurt, and people can hear a fire alarm in the distance. There is a leader in the room, and all the others in the room are looking at the leader to lead. The leader needs to tell them what to do. For other people in the room, one member does not want to leave the room. He or she thinks it's better to shelter under a table. Other members believe that it is better to leave the building as fast as possible and get into the open air. Như vậy mình thấy ở đây tình huống là có một trận động đất nhỏ. Mọi người thì không ai bị thương cả và có tiếng chuông báo động ở phía xa. Mọi người ở trong phòng thì mỗi người có một ý đúng không ạ? Người thì cho rằng là cần phải ở lại phòng, người thì cho rằng là cần phải đi ra ngoài. Như vậy với vai trò là người trưởng nhóm thì cái bạn leader này sẽ phải nói gì để đưa ra cái hướng dẫn, give instruction. Và những người ở trong phòng thì sẽ respond to instruction, đáp lại cái hướng dẫn đó như thế nào. Các bạn dành ra một vài phút để chuẩn bị cái hội thoại theo cái tình huống này. Ở trên màn hình các bạn có thể thấy ví dụ. Ở trong ví dụ này thì chúng ta có 4 người tham gia hội thoại. Mình có leader, trưởng nhóm, có member 1, member 2 và member 3. Như vậy người trưởng nhóm đầu tiên là họ yêu cầu mọi người cần phải làm sao ạ? Cần phải bình tĩnh. You need to calm down. Và người thứ nhất họ phản hồi lại cái câu nói đó bằng cách nói là How can I? Let's shelter under the table. It's safe there. Làm sao có thể bình tĩnh được? Chúng ta hãy cùng nhau trốn ở dưới gầm bàn. Rất là an toàn. Và người thứ hai họ nói luôn là No, we should go out. It's safer to be outside. Người tiếp theo lại respond, lại đáp lại là Yes, we should leave the building as fast as possible. Và người số 1 vẫn kiên quyết là phải ở trong phòng. No, it's safer to be inside. Và ở đây với vai trò là leader thì bạn này sẽ phải đưa ra quyết định. Đúng không ạ? Và bạn đưa ra quyết định là We need to leave the building right now. It's not safe inside. It's better to get into the open air. Trust me. Let's go. Anh ta nói là chúng ta cần phải ra ngoài an toàn hơn và hãy tin tưởng tôi. Let's move on to scenario 2. You are a group of tour guides. Your group is going to look after some foreign visitors. As a group, you have just decided to go and do some sightseeing in your area. The leader had to think about the tasks that need to be done and decide who will do them, and then tell the others in the group what they have to do. For other group members, one member thinks that it's important that the sightseeing should include a trip to a restaurant to try some local food, and other members believe that the visitors would like to see some entertainment, not just a sight. So please spend some time preparing and creating a conversation for this scenario. Have you finished? Please see below an example conversation. In this example, there are 3 people join the conversation. We have the leader, Linda, and Alex. So please spend some time reading the example and see how the leader stands his ground, what he asked Linda and Alex do, and how Linda and Alex respond to the instruction. Alright, so here we see that when the leader wants to stand his ground, he say, I'm afraid we don't have enough time for all the activities. And he asked Linda that, Linda, could you please find one restaurant which is famous for local food? And then Linda responds to the instruction by saying, sure, no problem. And then the leader asked Alex to make a detailed schedule for the whole day, and Alex responds to the instruction. He says, no problem, leave it with me. Alright. Now let's move on to scenario 3. You and 2 roommates need to move to new accommodation next month, but haven't yet started the process. The leader needs to tell the other roommates what to do, and for other members, one member has a bad back and does not want to carry anything heavy, and the other has a brother who owns a truck. Please spend some time preparing and creating the conversation for this scenario. Have you finished? Please see below the example conversation. So in this example, 3 people join the conversation. The leader, Mary, is the one who has a bad back, so she cannot carry anything heavy. And John is the one who has a brother who owns a truck. Alright. Now please spend some time reading the example and see how the leader stands his ground and what he asked Mary and John do, and how Mary and John respond to the instruction. So here to stand his ground, the leader said, we need you to join with us. And he also asked Mary that, can you put all the stuff in the boxes? And he asked John to carry the boxes with him. And to respond to the instruction, Mary says, yes, I can certainly do that. And John says, sure, no problem. Now let's move on to part 3.4, business skills, meetings, updates, and action. So after this part, learners can use a range of expressions to give and receive updates and to discuss follow-up action items. Now let's start with following definitions. To update someone means to tell someone the most recent information about a situation. An update means the most recent information about a situation. To action something means to do a specific thing that needs to be done, especially after discussing it. An action item means the thing that needs to be done. Now please answer the following questions. Number 2, what kinds of updates do you give and receive in a typical week? The updates here could be related to schoolwork, checking in with family, following the performance of a sport team, and so on. Question number 2. What action items do you have at the moment? Here, action items are anything that a person needs to do. So please spend some time thinking about your own answers for the 2 questions. Alright, we all know that meetings are very common in the workplace. What kinds of meeting have you attended? If you are a pre-work student, you can think about both formal and informal meetings, including get-togethers with friends and family. So please spend some time thinking about your own answers. Now let's move on to listening part. You will listen to a team leader explain a new procedure for meetings. What type of meeting is it? Let's listen and answer the question.
Unit 3, Recording 4. Part 1.
Welcome to our first stand-up meeting. No sitting down. The idea is that these meetings will be over very fast, not more than 15 minutes, and the aim is to bring us all up to date about what is going on in the team.
Alright, so what type of meeting is it? Could you hear what the leader said? She said, "Welcome to our first stand-up meeting, no sitting down." So this is a stand-up meeting. Let's move on to exercise 2B. You now listen to the rest of the recording and answer the questions from number 1 to number 7. Please have a look through 7 questions here. Number 1. How long does you expect the meeting to take? Buổi họp sẽ diễn ra trong vòng bao lâu? Number 2. What is the aim of the meeting? Mục đích của buổi họp là gì? Number 3. How often will the meetings take place? How often là câu hỏi về tần suất, nên chúng ta sẽ nghe xem là buổi họp này sẽ diễn ra hàng ngày hay là 2 lần một tuần hay là 3 lần một tuần. Number 4. What time will the meeting start? Buổi họp sẽ bắt đầu vào lúc mấy giờ? Number 5. What is the ball for? Như vậy trong buổi họp thì có sử dụng một quả bóng, thì quả bóng đã được sử dụng để làm gì? Number 6. What information will each person give? Mỗi một người tham gia buổi họp thì sẽ cung cấp những thông tin gì? And number 7. What will happen after the meeting? Sau khi kết thúc buổi họp thì sẽ xảy ra điều gì? Alright, so now listen to the recording and answer the questions from number 1 to number 7.
Welcome to our first stand-up meeting. No sitting down. The idea is that these meetings will be over very fast, not more than 15 minutes, and the aim is to bring us all up to date about what is going on in the team. This is very important. It is for all of us, not just for management. From today, these take place every morning at 9 a.m. This is a new type of meeting for most of us, so I will just explain what we plan to do. It's very simple. I will start by throwing this ball to a person. The person with the ball then gives the rest of us 3 pieces of information. 1, what they did yesterday. 2, what they plan for today. 3, any problems or impediments that they see. That's it. No discussion. They then throw the ball to another person who answers the same 3 questions. We go on until everyone has spoken. After the meeting, I will then follow up and speak to individuals about any action items.
Alright, so now we check the answer together. So for number 1, what is your answer? So the answer for number 1 is 15 minutes, right? And for number 2, the aim of the meeting is to bring everyone up to date about what is going on in the team. And number 3, how often will the meeting take place? It takes place every morning, alright. And for number 4, the meeting starts at 9 a.m. every morning, alright. And for number 5, the ball is used in the meeting for? Yes, it is used to decide who speaks. And number 6, what's the answer for number 6? So the person attending the meeting will have to say what they did yesterday, what they plan to do today, and any impediments. Ở đây từ impediments có nghĩa là khó khăn hoặc là trở ngại. Number 7. So after the meeting, the team leader will discuss follow-up action with individuals as necessary. Let's move on to exercise 3A. You will now listen to the next part of the meeting as 3 participants give their information and complete the table below. Please have a look at the table for the information you are going to listen for. 3 participants are Jack, Son, and Tom, and they will talk about what they did yesterday, what they plan to do today, and the problems or impediments that they may have. Alright, so now we listen for the information given by Jack.
Jack.
Okay, yesterday I worked on the new contract for the China project. Today I have a meeting with the lawyers to clarify some of the questions I have. So the draft contract is in progress, and I expect to complete it today. The only impediment I see is time. The lawyers say they can only give me 1 hour, and it may not be enough.
Alright, so now let's check what Jack did yesterday, what he is going to do today, and what's the problems that he faced with. So yesterday he worked on contract for China project, and today he has a meeting with lawyers and also to complete draft contract. And the problem is that the lawyers have limited time. Now let's continue listening for the information given by Son.
Sal.
Hi, everybody. So I had a meeting with a sub-supplier in the morning where we agreed some new deadlines. We followed up the meeting with a nice lunch. And then in the afternoon, I went to the dentist. Today, my plan is to finish writing a summary of yesterday's meeting, and then I'll be briefing the production team leader. I don't see any impediments at the moment.
Alright, so what did Son do yesterday? So yesterday she had a meeting with sub-supplier, right? And after that, they went for lunch, alright? And for today, she's planning to write summary of meeting and brief production team leader, alright? And there is no problem with her. Right, so now you listen for the information given by the last person, Tom.
Tom.
Okay, I'm planning to work on the designs for the new logo for the rest of today. Oh, sorry, yesterday I spent most of the day discussing ideas for the new logo with different departments. That was difficult because I didn't have any fixed appointments with anybody. So it was really a matter of luck. So today, as I said, I'll be working on the designs and then I'll be discussing them with the people I missed yesterday, hopefully, if they're available. Oh, I nearly forgot. Yesterday, I also met with one of the new designers who will be working on this project until the end. Thank you.
Alright, so what about Tom? What did he do yesterday? What he's planning to do today, and any problem with him? Okay, so let's see the answer on the screen. So yesterday he discussed logo ideas with department heads and he also met designer. And today he's going to work on logo designs and meet with remaining department head. And he said that he has a problem that not all department has available. Alright. So now we answer the questions exercise 3B. So among 3 speakers, Jack, Son, and Tom, Which one was the most difficult to understand and why? Let's spend some time thinking about this question. Alright, so among three speakers, we think that Tom is the one who was the most difficult to understand, right? Because his speech wasn't very well organized and didn't follow the same sequence as Jack and Son. Now let's listen again for the speech of Tom, the third speaker. On the screen is the audio script for the speech of Tom. Listen and read the script at the same time.
Tom.
Okay, I'm planning to work on the designs for the new logo for the rest of today. Oh, sorry, yesterday I spent most of the day discussing ideas for the new logo with different departments. That was difficult because I didn't have any fixed appointments with anybody. So it was really a matter of luck. So today, as I said, I'll be working on the designs and then I'll be discussing them with the people I missed yesterday, hopefully, if they're available. Oh, I nearly forgot. Yesterday, I also met with one of the new designers who will be working on this project until the end. Thank you.
Alright, so as you can see, the speech of Tom is very difficult to follow and understand, right? So what you have to do in exercise 4 is you use your note in exercise 3 to rewrite what Tom said in an easier way to follow. Now please spend some time preparing the writing. Have you finished? Now let's have a look at the example answer. So here you see that we start with yesterday and then today, alright, and also with the impediment, right? As you can see on the screen, these are the notes that we have already taken from the listening. Among three participants, only Son doesn't have any problem. For Jack, he may have a scheduling or time problem with the lawyers, and for Tom, he isn't sure he'll be able to see the managers he needs to see, right? Now let's think about who the team leader will speak to after the meeting and what follow-up action items they will discuss. Now please spend some time doing exercise 5. Have you finished? Here is an example answer. I think that the manager will probably want to speak to Jack about lawyers' availability and to Tom about the department head availability. We continue with listening section, a stand-up meeting. So in the second part of the listening, we have listened to Jack, Son, and Tom report their work during the stand-up meeting. So as you can see on the screen are the notes about the information given by Jack, Son, and Tom, and I also add the information here given by the leader, right? So after this stand-up meeting, the team leader goes to see the boss, and the team leader boss asks the leader some questions, as you can see below. So for number 1, the team leader's boss asked, how are we doing with the redrafting of the China contract? Number 2, what about Son's meeting with the sub-suppliers yesterday? What happening with the deadlines? Number 3, where are we with the logo? Number 4, can you bring me up to date on the program for today? Number 5, what is the latest on the new schedule? Can you give me an update on the plans? And number 6, when will you be able to bring me up to speed on the factory shutdown? Now please have a look at the note of the stand-up meeting again and spend some time answering the questions on your own. Alright, now let's listen to the team leader's answer. Alright?
Unit 3, Recording 6. Part 3.
How are we doing with the redrafting of the China contract?
Jack is handling that. He's meeting with the lawyers today and is hoping to finish the draft today too.
That's good. What about Sal's meeting with the sub-suppliers yesterday? I saw her in the canteen. What's happening with the deadlines?
Well, they did agree some new deadlines, but I haven't seen them yet. I'm sure they'll be okay.
And where are we with the logo?
Tom's working hard on that. He's going round the departments getting feedback and he's meeting with the designers. It's all in hand.
Can you bring me up to date on the programme for today?
Well, let's see. Jack is doing the contract. Sal is writing up yesterday's meeting and doing some briefings. And Tom is working on the logos. I'll be focusing on the new schedule and the factory shutdown.
Ah, yes. What's the latest on the new schedule? Let's see. Can you give me an update on the plans?
Yes, I can do that now if you like.
Fine. When will you be able to bring me up to speed on the factory shutdown?
I should be in a position to do that this afternoon. Can I come round your office, say, 4-ish?
Sounds good. Thanks.
Alright, so now we'll check the answer together. So for number 1, the leader said, Jack is handling that. He's meeting with the lawyers today and is hoping to finish the draft today too. Right? So the information can be found here, right? And for number 2, the leader said, they agreed some new deadlines, but I haven't seen them yet. I'm sure they'll be okay, right? And for number 3, so who is working with the logo? See the note here? Tom is working with the logo, right? So the answer is Tom working hard on that. He's going around the department getting feedback and he's meeting with the designers. It's all in hand, right? And for number 4, the boss asked, can you give me up to date on the program today? And the leader, she summarized all the information given by Jack, San, and Tom. Jack is doing the contract, San is writing up yesterday's meeting and doing some briefing, and Tom is working on the logos. I'll be focusing on the new schedule and the factory shutdown. Right, and for number 5, the answer is yes. So the boss asks whether or not the leader can give an update on the plans, and she answered yes, she can do that if the boss like. And the last question, the leader said that she should be in the position to do that this afternoon. Alright. Alright, so now let's move on to exercise 7. In this exercise, you will match the beginning from number 1 to number 7 with the ending A to Z to make questions from the audio which are used to ask for an update. Please spend some time doing the exercise. Alright, so now we check the answer together. So for number 1, so we match with 1B, right? How are we doing with the redrafting on the China contract, right? And for number 2, what's happening with the deadlines? So we match number 2 with D, right? And number 3, and where are we with the logo? So number 3, we match with G. And for number 4, what's the answer? So number 4, we match 4 with C. Can you bring me up to date on the program for today? Number 5, what's the latest on this new schedule? We match number 5 with F. And for number 6, so we match number 6 with A. Can you give me an update on the plans? And finally, number 7. When will you be able to bring me up to speed on the factory shutdown? Right, so we match number 7 with E. Now let's move on to exercise 8A. Complete the sentences from the audio using the words in the box. So here we have some words: agreed, progress, finish, see, follow up, spent, impediment, worked, and work on. Do you remember the meaning of the word impediment? Impediment means problem. Alright. So please spend some time doing exercise 8A from number 1 to number 9. Now let's check the answer together. For number 1, which word is the box that you fill in the blank here? Yesterday I worked on a new contract for the China project. And for number 2, so the draft contract is in progress and I expect to complete it today. And number 3, the only impediment I see is time, right? And number 4, I had a meeting with a sub-supplier in the morning where we agreed some new deadlines. What about number 5? What's your answer? We follow up the meeting with a nice lunch. And number 6, today my plan is to finish writing a summary of yesterday's meeting. Number 7, so which word from the box that you fill in the blank here? I don't see any impediment at the moment. Alright, and for number 8, what is your answer? I'm planning to work on the designs for the new logo. And the last one, number 9, yesterday I spent most of the day discussing ideas for the new logo. Now let's move on to exercise 8B. Please put the sentences in exercise 8A from number 1 to number 9 here in 3 categories. Category A, give an update on the past action. Category B, talk about planned actions. And category C, refer to an impediment or problem. Now let's work together with sentence 1. Yesterday, I worked on the new contract for the China project. So this sentence we put in category A or B or C, right? So we should put that in category A, right? Give an update on the past action. Now please spend some time continuing with sentences from number 2 to number 9. Have you finished? Now let's check the answers together. So for category A, give an update on the past action. So we have sentence 1 already and 4, 5, and 9, right? So we see yesterday and the verb here also put in the past simple. So these sentences give an update on the past action, all right? And for category B, so which sentences that we put in category B? The answer is number 2, number 6, and number 8. Alright, so here we see some words like I expect to complete it today. Today, my plan is, I'm planning to, right? So we use these phrases or use the words to talk about planned actions. And for category C, refer to an impediment or problem. So which sentences from number 1 to number 9 that we put in category C? Number 3, the only impediment I see is time. And number 7, I don't see any impediment at the moment. Now let's move on to exercise 9. As you can see, below are the questions asking for updates and the answer giving updates. Alright, so please listen again to the conversation between the team leader and her boss and pay attention to how they ask for and give updates.
Unit 3, Recording 6. Part 3.
How are we doing with the redrafting of the China contract?
Jack is handling that. He's meeting with the lawyers today and is hoping to finish the draft today too.
That's good. What about Sal's meeting with the sub-suppliers yesterday? I saw her in the canteen. What's happening with the deadlines?
Well, they did agree some new deadlines, but I haven't seen them yet. I'm sure they'll be okay.
And where are we with the logo?
Tom's working hard on that. He's going round the departments getting feedback and he's meeting with the designers. It's all in hand.
Can you bring me up to date on the programme for today?
Well, let's see. Jack is doing the contract. Sal is writing up yesterday's meeting and doing some briefings. And Tom is working on the logos. I'll be focusing on the new schedule and the factory shutdown.
Ah, yes. What's the latest on the new schedule? Let's see. Can you give me an update on the plans?
Yes, I can do that now if you like.
Fine. When will you be able to bring me up to speed on the factory shutdown?
I should be in a position to do that this afternoon. Can I come round your office, say, 4ish?
Sounds good. Thanks.
Alright, so now please spend some time practicing asking and answer the questions from number 1 to number 6. Right, so I will do the sentence 1 as an example for you. So we practice asking and answering. So for number 1, we ask the question, how are we doing with the redrafting on the China contract? And the answer is, Jack is handling that. He's meeting with the lawyers today and is hoping to finish the draft today too. So now, please spend some time practicing asking and answering the questions in order to ask and give updates. We continue with section task, part 3.4, exercise 10. Read the notes on the scenario below. Create a conversation asking for and giving an update on the past action, planned actions, or any problems may have. Ở bài tập này chúng ta có 3 tình huống. Với mỗi tình huống thì sẽ có các thông tin chi tiết. Việc chúng ta cần phải làm là đọc các tình huống và tạo ra các hội thoại để hỏi và trả lời về các thông tin mới nhất hay thông tin cập nhật liên quan tới các tình huống đó. Với 3 tình huống thì tình huống số 1 cô và các bạn sẽ làm kỹ cùng với nhau. Tình huống số 2 và tình huống số 3 cô sẽ chỉnh chiếu cái ví dụ lên trên màn hình và các bạn sẽ xem và tham khảo. Alright, so we start with scenario number 1, TH37 project. The project team has now been agreed. The first project meeting is planned for next week. We are working on the agenda at the moment. The final budget is expected by Friday this week, but may not be sufficient. Như vậy đây thông tin là về dự án tên là TH37. Đầu tiên thông tin đã cho thấy là cái nhóm thực hiện dự án thì đã được thống nhất. Tiếp theo là thông tin về cái buổi họp cho cái dự án, buổi họp đầu tiên cho cái dự án này. Nó được triển khai vào tuần tới. Và thông tin cuối cùng được đề cập đó là final budget, là cái ngân sách cuối cùng thì được kỳ vọng sẽ có vào ngày thứ 6, thế nhưng mà có thể sẽ không hiệu quả. Thì đây là thông tin mình có thể sử dụng để nói về cái problems, cái vấn đề hoặc là cái trở ngại gặp phải. Chúng ta sẽ cùng xem cái ví dụ ở trên màn hình ạ. Như vậy chúng ta có hội thoại giữa boss và team leader. Người quản lý, boss, thì đầu tiên muốn hỏi thông tin chung về cái dự án này. Thì anh ta hỏi là how are we doing with the new project? Anh ta muốn ask for an update. Như vậy là tình hình như thế nào rồi, đúng không ạ? Và team leader, trưởng nhóm, có trả lời là the project team has now been agreed. Như vậy team leader đã give an update về cái TH37 project. Tiếp theo, người quản lý boss muốn hỏi tiếp thông tin cập nhật về buổi họp đầu tiên. When will be the first meeting of a team? Và để cung cấp cái thông tin give an update thì team leader có trả lời rằng it's planned for next week. Ở đây thì cụ thể là update về cái gì? Update on a planned action. Right. Và tiếp theo, người quản lý này lại muốn biết được thêm thông tin về final budget. And where are we with the final budget? Đây mình sử dụng cấu trúc là where are we? Và trưởng nhóm trả lời rằng expected by Friday this week, but maybe not sufficient. Như vậy anh ta cũng cung cấp cái thông tin về cái problem, cái vấn đề có thể xảy ra. Now let's continue with scenario number 2, holiday plans. Holiday plans. The agreed date for the factory shutdown will be 16 December to the 4th of January. Discussions with department are happening today. We still need to find volunteers to answer telephones during the shutdown. Alright, so now please spend some time preparing and creating a conversation for this scenario. Have you finished? Please have a look on the screen for the example conversation. So in this example, the team leaders is having a meeting with other team member, Laura and Jane. Please spend some time reading the example and see how the team leader asks for update and how Laura and Jane give updates. Alright, so we come to the last scenario of exercise 10, scenario 3. Delivery of new office furniture. The delivery dates were changed yesterday. The new date is Wednesday next week. We need to inform all departments and make sure that this is okay with everyone. We need to find someone to deal with the delivery company. Normally Jonathan, but he's away on a course. Please spend some time preparing and creating a conversation to ask and give an update about delivery of new office furniture. Alright, have you finished? Now please have a look on the screen for the example conversation. So in this example, the boss is asking the team leader about the delivery of new office furniture. So please spend some time reading the example and see how the boss asks for update and how the team leader gives an update. Alright, so now we move on to part 3.5, writing. So after this part, learners can write an internal email requesting updates on the project. Alright, so let's start with exercise 1A. Read the email below and answer the question, what is Wilhelm asking John to do? So as you can see on the screen, it is the email written by Wilhelm and it was sent to John. And the email is about building project update. Alright, so we read the first paragraph together. I'd like to know if the first stage of the building project is moving fast enough and will meet the original deadlines. So could you let me know what the current position is? If you're not going to meet the deadlines, would you check when we can get together to go over the schedule? So in this paragraph, William would like to know if the first stage of the building project meets the deadline or not. Let's continue with the second paragraph. Also, the CFO is now worried that there aren't enough funds to complete the project on time, especially as there have been several problems. I'd therefore be grateful if you could send me the cost details for last month, particularly any additional purchases you made. So in this paragraph, we have mentioned the cost details, alright? Right, so now we read the last paragraph together. I understand that where the conditions were not good enough to start the second stage of the project last week, I appreciate it if you could meet me tomorrow afternoon to discuss the rescheduled date. Could you also ask your assistant to join us, please? So in this last paragraph, William stated that he would like to meet John for further discussion on the rescheduled date. Alright, so now please have a quick look through the email again and answer the question, what is William asking John to do? The answer is William is asking John to update him on deadlines and cost details. William also wants to meet John tomorrow. Now we move on to exercise 1B. Please read the email again and underline each spelling mistakes and correct them. Now please spend some time doing the exercise. Have you finished? Let's check the answer together. So in paragraph 1, are there any spelling mistakes? Alright, so we have the first one, original, alright, and the second one, current. Okay, and the third one, right, and what is the correct spelling for this word? Schedule, right? And number 4, so this one also had the spelling mistake. And what is the correct spelling for the word? Several, alright. And next, number 5, additional, right? And number 6, weather conditions, điều kiện thời tiết, đúng không ạ? And number 7, assistant, alright. And number 8, regards. Okay, so have you done the exercise correctly? Now let's move on to the next part, functional language. In this part, you are going to look closely at the language for writing an email asking for an update. So what you have to do now is to complete the table below with words from the box. Chúng ta sẽ cần phải điền những cái từ ở trong hộp này, số các câu ở dưới này, đúng không ạ? Để có thể diễn đạt cách mà mình muốn hỏi một cái thông tin nào đó. Thì những cái câu này chúng ta đều được lấy từ bài bức thư mà đã có ở trong bài số 1, nên các bạn có thể xem lại thư và điền từ vào các ô trống ở đây ạ. Alright, so now please check the answer together. So for number 1, so which word should be filled in here? I'd like to know if, alright, and number 2, I'd therefore be grateful if you could send me cost detail for last month, right? Number 3, I'd appreciate it if you could meet me tomorrow afternoon, right? And number 4, I need your help with the monthly report. Number 5, I'd like to request a meeting with the manager. Number 6, could you please let me know what the current position is? Number 7, could you ask your assistant to join us, please? Number 8, would you mind sending me the details? Number 9, could it be possible to have a meeting next week? And the last one, could you possibly meet me tomorrow? Chúng ta sẽ chuyển sang phần ngữ pháp grammar. Ở phần này chúng ta sẽ tập trung vào cách sử dụng của enough và not enough. Như vậy enough có nghĩa là đủ, đúng không ạ? As much as you need. Và not enough là không đủ. Less than is needed or necessary. Các bạn cùng xem các ví dụ ở dưới đây và chú ý vào các cụm từ sau. Thứ nhất là fast enough, thì ở đây mình có từ fast là trạng từ. Are not enough funds to, thì mình có funds là danh từ. Và not good enough to, thì mình có good là tính từ. Như vậy các bạn thấy là enough thì có thể đi được với cả tính từ, trạng từ và danh từ. Tuy nhiên với các loại từ khác nhau thì vị trí của enough này cũng đặt được khác nhau. Cụ thể, nếu enough mà đi với cả tính từ hoặc trạng từ thì sẽ ở sau, đúng không ạ? Ví dụ fast enough. Nếu đi với danh từ thì enough sẽ đứng trước danh từ enough funds. Chúng ta có một cấu trúc nữa là tính từ hoặc trạng từ enough và to. Good enough to. Ngoài ra, enough cũng đi với danh từ và to. Enough funds to. Let's move on to exercise 3A. As you can see on the screen, there is a situation. Your head office is being refurbished and you want to find out from the project leader how the refurbishment is going. Ở đây mình có từ refurbished, động từ có nghĩa là cải tạo tân trang và danh từ của nó là refurbishment. And let's look at the following points. Deadline, new finish date, work completed, work not completed, reasons, furniture, equipment, and problems. So what you have to do is to think of exact information you want to find out about each point and write the questions you could ask or the statement you could say. You might want to refer back to exercise 2 for the functional language, asking for information. Alright, so now we do the first point and the second point together. So when we want to request an update on the deadline, which question we could ask or which statement we could say? Right, so we could say, I'd like to know if you could meet the deadline. And if we want to ask for the information related to new finish date, and we could ask, if not, when, or if not, when do you think you'll finish? Right, now please spend some time doing the rest of the exercise. Have you finished? So let's check the answer together. So for work completed, we could say, or we could ask, right? We could say, I'd be grateful if you could send me the list of works you have completed, right? And then we want to know about the work not completed, and we could ask, what work didn't you complete, or what work haven't you completed, right? And for the reasons, we can say, I'd like to request for a list of reasons for any delays. So if you want to request an update on furniture or equipment, we could say, or we could ask, have you ordered the new furniture and equipment, right? And we want to ask for the information relating to the problems, and we could ask, and we could say, I'd be appreciate it if you could state any problems that you think you might have. Alright, so now it's time to practice. Write an email to the project leader requesting an update on the refurbishment in around 150 words. And you can use the questions or the statement for each point in exercise 3A for your writing, as you can see on the screen. Right? So now please spend some time writing an email to the project leader requesting an update on the refurbishment. Now please have a look on the screen for the model answer. So as you can see here, the letter was written by Lydia and it was sent to Yolanda, the project leader, and the subject is Request for Update on Refurbishment of Head Office. Now let's read the email together. Dear Yolanda, I'd like to know how the refurbishment of head office is going and if we are going to be able to move it on schedule. Could you possibly let me know what the current state of the project is? If you are not going to meet the deadline, I'd appreciate it if you could let me know when the new finish date will be. Also, please could you give me details of what work you have completed and the work which isn't yet finished. I'd also be grateful if you could outline the reasons for any delays. Could you also let me know if you have ordered all the new furniture and equipment and that it is ready to go into the process? Finally, I'd like a list of all the problems so far and information about any problem that you think might happen in the future. Thanks for your help. Alright, so now please have a look again on the email and please pay attention to the language which is used to request an update. So you can see there are some phrases that are underlined here, like I'd like to know how it's going. Could you possibly let me know? I appreciate it if. Please could you? I'd also be grateful if. Could you also let me know if? I'd like. So there are some phrases that we can use in order to request an update or to ask for information. Alright, so together we have finished Unit 3 and now let's do a review of Unit 3. So in Unit 3 we have studied 5 parts. Part 3.1, Project Management. Part 3.2, Large Scale Project. Part 3.3, Communication Skills, Giving Instruction. Part 3.4, Business Skills, Meetings, Updates and Action. And Part 3.5, Writing, Email Requesting an Update. We will do the review for each part. So after studying part 3.1, it is expected that learners can use vocabulary related to project management, and you can see here are some words and phrases related to project management. And here are some nouns which are built from the verb by adding the ending ment or shen. And after studying part 3.2, it is expected that learners can understand and practice making comparisons. So here are some examples for comparatives and superlatives. Now let's move on to the review of part 3.3. After studying this part, it is expected that learners are aware of different ways of telling people what to do and can use a range of phrases for giving and responding to instructions and standing their ground. In order to achieve these objectives, in part 3.3, we have watched the video resolving a problem with a schedule change, and we also have had the chance to study the functional language, giving and responding to instructions, standing your ground. Finally, in part 3.3, we have done the task, giving and responding to instructions. Now please have a look on the screen for the functional language, giving and responding to instructions, and standing your ground. So in order to tell someone what to do, we can say, can you bring someone up to speed? Or we can say, you need to do something, right? And we can also say, we need you to, or I'd like you to, all right? And in order to respond to an instruction, so we can say, no problem, leave it with me, or I think we can do it. And yes, I can certainly do that. And sure, no problem. Okay. Now, if we want to standing our ground, so we can use some language that I have no room for maneuver on this. Có nghĩa là tôi không thể nào thay đổi được hoặc là điều chỉnh được cái việc này. I can't compromise on this. Tôi không thể nào thỏa hiệp được cái việc này. I'm afraid I'm just not that flexible. Tôi rất tiếc nhưng mà tôi không thể nào linh hoạt được. I'm sorry, there's no flexibilities on this deadline. So here we have flexible is the adjective and flexibility is a noun, right? And we can also say, I would like to have you, but I can't. My hands are tied. Tôi chịu thôi, tôi không thể nào làm được. Hoặc là mình có thể dùng một câu trong tiếng Việt nôm na là tôi bó tay rồi. Alright. Now let's move on to the review of part 3.4. So after studying this part, it is expected that learners can use a range of expressions to give and receive updates and to discuss follow-up action items. In order to achieve the objectives, in this part, we have listened to a recording about a stand-up meeting. We have also studied the functional language, asking for and giving updates. And finally, we have the opportunity to do the task, an update meeting. Now let's review the functional language, asking for and giving updates. So as you can see on the screens, there are some examples for asking for updates. So let's have a look at these examples. Where are we with the new design? What's the latest on the Indian contract? Can you please give me an update on the construction? How are we doing with the project scheduling? Alright, and below are the examples about giving updates. Right? The new design is in progress and I expect to complete it today. I don't see any impediments at the moment. We hope to finish drawing up the plans today. So what does impediment mean? Impediment means problem. Alright, so the last part of lesson 6 is part 3.5, writing. It is expected that after studying this part, learners can write an internal email requesting updates on a project. So in order to achieve this objective, in this part 3.5, we have read a model text and we also have learned the functional language asking for information. And in this part, we also have had the chance to study the grammar, not enough. And finally, we have had the opportunity to do the task, email requesting an update. Now let's review the functional language asking for information. So as you can see on the screen, in order to ask for information, we can use the statement or we can use the question. So for the statement, there are some phrases that we can use. For example, we can use I'd like to know if, I'd be grateful if, I'd appreciate it if, I need, I'd like to, right? And for the questions, so there are some questions that we can use to ask for information, like, could you let me know? Could you ask? Would you mind? Could it be possible to? And could you possibly? Alright. That brings us to the end of Unit 3. Thank you for your attention.